How are you, ma'am?
I'm extremely great, sir.
And what's your name?
My name is Amandeep Kaur.
Where are you from?
I'm from Morni, nearby small city Pihova, district Kshetra. It is situated in northern part of India.
What are you doing these days?
Well, these days I am trainer of the IELTS
Okay. And why did you choose to become the trainer of IELTS?
because I think it is a very good way. Because when we train to the children, we learn lots of things. Because sometimes we have no more things in our, so many things we can learn easily.
Okay. How many times did you give the IELTS exam? Once or twice or more than twice?
I give the exam 2 times.
Okay, okay. Then we can expect some wonderful things from you. So I'm taking the topic of newspapers. Like, do you often read newspapers?
Yes, of course. Oftenly I read the newspaper because it is a very interesting thing, and whenever we read the newspaper, we learn numerous types of things in the newspaper, and we can get the knowledge.
Which do you prefer reading, magazines or newspapers?
Well, I prefer to the newspaper because it is a common part in our life, and in the newspaper there are many newses comes inside in the newspaper, so I prefer the newspaper.
What kind of newspapers do you usually read?
Well, I usually read English newspaper, and because I think as a trainer it is very important for me, and I learn numerous types of things in this newspaper, so I prefer English newspaper.
How old were you when you first started to read newspapers?
Well, I roughly remember, but I think I remember when I was 8th standard. That time I read the newspaper because my grandfather always read the newspaper in the morning time.
Do you think it's important to read newspapers?
Yes, of course. I think it is very beneficial for us because when we read the news, we get the knowledge about our society, about our world, and many types of countries. So it is very beneficial.
What do you think? Why people read newspapers?
Well, it is a subjective matter because it's depend on every person's choice. Some people read the newspaper like related to their business, and some people read the newspaper related to their to release their stress. So I think.
What different types of newspapers are there in India?
Well, there are numerous type of newspaper in India, like Dainik Bhaskar and so on.
Okay. What kind of news do Indian people read in newspapers?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, most of the Indian people read the newspaper related to their business as well as related to their study. So that's types of news.
Do you prefer to read about local news or international news?
Well, I'm mostly interested in international news because I know about the international news because there are many things come every day in the newspaper related to our world. So I am very interested in that news.
Okay. Do you think internet is a good way to get news?
Yes, of course. Nowadays, internet a very common part in our life because with the help of internet we get knowledge about the news easily, and it's internet is that way. Internet is a good way to update it to every person. So I think it is a good way to about the news.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. This is the end of your speaking.
Yes.